Ladies and gentlemen, imagine reaching your 70s, a time society often paints as the twilight years, only to discover it's actually the most liberating chapter of your life. For many, this age isn't about slowing down or giving into outdated expectations. It's about awakening to a deeper truth that happiness, peace, and fulfillment don't always come from coupling up again. While the world may whisper that love must be rekindled through remarriage, a growing number of people over 70 are making a bold, surprising choice, not to remarry at all. And not out of loneliness or bitterness, but out of clarity, strength, and self-respect. In this speech, we explore 5 unexpected reasons why this decision isn't just valid, it's empowering. These insights may just shift the way you see love, aging, and freedom forever. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any video. Reason number 1. The freedom of uninterrupted routine. After decades spent navigating shared lives, making compromises, and molding daily routines around someone else's needs, many individuals who cross the threshold of 70 discover a surprising and deeply satisfying freedom, the ability to live on their own terms. This isn't about isolation or loneliness. Far from it. It's about reclaiming a rhythm of life that answers to no one but the self, where every choice is rooted in personal desire rather than obligation. For most of life, relationships demand coordination. From deciding what to eat, when to travel, or how to spend a quiet evening, everything is subject to discussion, compromise, or sometimes quiet sacrifice. Over time, these small negotiations become second nature. But what happens when they are no longer necessary? Many people over 70 are finding that the absence of constant collaboration brings with it a surprising sense of peace and clarity. They can wake when they choose, dine when it feels right, travel spontaneously, or simply spend an entire day in reflective silence. All without explanation or adjustment. This freedom becomes a kind of sanctuary. Personal routines are no longer interrupted by another's habits or preferences. Morning rituals can stretch as long as desired. One can read late into the night, leave dishes until morning, take a spontaneous walk at dusk, or decide, without discussion, to spend the weekend alone. This uninterrupted autonomy nurtures a deeper connection with oneself, encouraging growth, mindfulness, and exploration in a stage of life that many assume to be static or declining. Hobbies and passions, once deferred for the sake of family or relationship responsibilities, can finally take center stage. Whether it's painting, gardening, writing, or simply enjoying long, undisturbed walks. These activities become richer and more fulfilling without the friction of conflicting interests. The surprising part isn't just that this lifestyle is enjoyable. It's how deeply contenting it can be. Many over 70 discover that solitude, when chosen rather than imposed, is not a punishment but a privilege. Additionally, emotional energy, so often consumed by the demands of maintaining a romantic partnership, can now be redirected. This energy can go into friendships, grandchildren, personal wellness, or quiet contemplation. There's a mental lightness that comes with not having to consider someone else's moods, expectations, or needs in every decision. For many, this clarity leads to inner calm, and even joy that wasn't possible during the give and take of married life. What surprises people most is that the absence of romantic companionship does not necessarily translate into loneliness. In fact, many people in this stage of life are surrounded by rich social networks, old friends, siblings, children, grandchildren, and community ties that offer connection without entanglement. These relationships tend to be less demanding and more rewarding, often grounded in shared history, mutual respect, and emotional support without the complications of cohabitation or romantic expectation. While society often promotes the idea that love and partnership are eternal goals, many people over 70 are proving that joy, fulfillment, and purpose don't always require another person by your side. They are finding that their own company, once overlooked or undervalued, is not only enough. It's beautiful, liberating, and even healing. The peace that comes from setting one's own pace, honoring one's own needs, and finally living for oneself is not something many anticipated. But once experienced, it becomes hard to give up. The choosing not to remarry after 70 is not necessarily a rejection of love. Rather, it can be an embrace of self-love. A quiet, a confident decision to live life according to one's own rhythm, to find happiness in simplicity, and to honor the hard-earned wisdom that says, sometimes, the best companion is yourself. Reason number 2, protecting established financial independence. For many individuals over the age of 70, financial independence is not just a practical matter. It's a hard-earned symbol of freedom, dignity, and peace of mind. After a lifetime of work, saving, investing, and carefully managing money, this independence becomes a cornerstone of their well-being. It offers control over daily decisions, the ability to support personal interests, and the security of knowing that basic needs and unexpected challenges can be managed without relying on anyone else. In this phase of life, maintaining that stability becomes a top priority. And remarriage, while often romanticized, can introduce complications that disrupt this sense of control. At this stage, financial systems are usually well established. Retirement accounts are in place, pensions are calculated, estate plans are carefully crafted, and budgets are tailored to a specific lifestyle. Many have created a sustainable rhythm that allows them to live comfortably, support causes they believe in, and enjoy travel or hobbies, and even leave behind a meaningful legacy for children or grandchildren. This structure has often been built with great effort and over many years, sometimes even after recovering from earlier financial setbacks. The thought of merging these carefully laid plans with someone else's, especially late in life, can feel unnecessarily risky. Remarriage can bring unexpected financial entanglements. A new spouse might carry debt, have different spending habits, or bring in legal and familial expectations that complicate previously settled arrangements. Issues such as co-ownership of property, combining or keeping separate accounts, and potential responsibility for a new partner's medical or long care expenses can create stress where there was once clarity. Even with prenuptial agreements in place, the emotional strain and legal logistics of managing finances with a new partner often outweigh the benefits. One of the most sensitive areas is inheritance. Many people over 70 have children, grandchildren, or other loved ones whom they wish to provide for after their passing. Remarriage can unintentionally disrupt or complicate these plans. Concerns about how assets will be divided, whether new spouses or stepchildren will have claims, and how family relationships may shift under new legal structures can be a major source of tension. Even when intentions are clear, the laws surrounding marital property and spousal rights can create unanticipated outcomes, especially if clear legal protections aren't put in place. The surprising truth that financial independence at this stage is not just about dollars and cents. It's about lifestyle. It means not having to worry about another person's financial habits or medical expenses draining limited resources. It means waking up each day knowing that personal needs, goals, and dreams can be supported without negotiation or compromise. This independence fosters confidence and allows for more generous choices. Giving to others, taking a dream trip, or simply maintaining a standard of living that feels comfortable and familiar. There's also a psychological layer. Many people who have spent years rebuilding after divorce or the death of a spouse deeply value the fact that their well-being is no longer tied to anyone else's income, decisions, or debts. That freedom can feel incredibly empowering. Choosing to protect it isn't selfish, it's wise. It's a recognition of the peace that comes from having control over one's own resources, especially in a world that becomes more unpredictable with age. Ultimately, opting not to remarry after 70 is often less about rejecting love and more about protecting peace. It's a decision grounded in realism, self-respect, and a deep understanding of what truly brings security and happiness. Financial independence is more than a number in a bank account. It's a lifestyle choice that supports autonomy, preserves personal priorities, and safeguards the ability to live the final chapters of life on one's own terms. Reason number 3, prioritizing existing social circles and family bonds. By the time a person reaches 70, their life is often anchored by a rich tapestry of relationships. Friendships that have weathered decades, family ties that span generations, and community connections built through shared history, values, and mutual respect. These bonds become the emotional foundation of daily life, offering comfort, familiarity, and joy that are not easily replaced or replicated. For many in this age group, choosing not to remarry isn't about bitterness or a lack of desire for connection. It's about recognizing and honoring the deep fulfillment already present in their existing social circles. Longtime friendships are often some of the most stabilizing forces in later life. These are people who have seen each other through marriages, children, losses, illnesses, and celebrations. The depth of these connections brings a rare kind of understanding, one that doesn't require explanation or performance. There's ease in the companionship and authenticity in the shared experiences. Introducing a new romantic partner into this established web can unintentionally shift the dynamic, requiring friends to adjust to someone new and sometimes creating tension or discomfort in a group that once operated in perfect harmony. Family bonds, too, play a central role. By 70, many people are grandparents, beloved elders, or the emotional glue that holds a family together. Their homes are places of tradition and stability, and their presence is a source of reassurance for younger generations. A new marriage, especially one that alters routines or financial plans, can sometimes be met with resistance or even confusion by family members who fear changes to the existing balance. While love and acceptance are possible, there's no denying that adjustments must be made. And not everyone is eager to disrupt the peaceful rhythm already in place. The introduction of a new partner can also raise subtle but significant issues of loyalty and space. Adult children and grandchildren may feel displaced or uncertain about how to relate to the new individual. Longtime friends may worry that the person they once had open access to will now be less available or more distracted. These shifts, though sometimes unspoken, can alter the emotional texture of a person's support system. What was once simple and organic can become complicated and conditional. Many people over 70 come to realize that the emotional nourishment they seek, connection, affection, understanding, and companionship, is already present in abundance within their current relationships. Sunday lunches with grandchildren, daily chats with lifelong friends, volunteering with community groups, or participating in religious or cultural circles all provide meaningful interactions. These bonds are not only sufficient, but are often more emotionally rewarding than the uncertainties of forming a new romantic attachment late in life. What surprises many is just how deeply contenting this can be. The societal message often suggests that romantic love is the highest form of companionship. But those who have cultivated strong social networks know otherwise. They understand that love takes many forms, and that the quiet, steady presence of a friend, the laughter of a grandchild, or the shared silence of a sibling can be just as powerful and fulfilling as romantic intimacy. Choosing not to remarry after 70, then, becomes less about closing the door on love and more about fully embracing the love that already exists. It's a conscious decision to protect what has been built over time, to prioritize the emotional safety, reliability, and comfort found in existing relationships. Rather than seeking something new, many people at this stage of life find peace in deepening what they already have. This approach isn't about avoiding connection, but about honoring it its most mature, enduring form. It recognizes that joy, support, and meaning often come from the people who've walked beside us for decades, not from starting over with someone new. And for many, that is more than enough. Reason number 4, embracing self, completion, and personal growth. Reaching the age of 70 often comes with a profound and hard-earned sense of self. Many individuals at this stage of life find themselves experiencing a depth of self-awareness and emotional maturity that allows them to feel truly whole, not because of someone else, but because of who they've become. They no longer seek external validation, approval, or romantic companionship to define their worth or purpose. Instead, they are grounded in a quiet confidence, a sense that they are enough just as they are. This is one of the most surprising and empowering reasons why many choose not to remarry after 70, not out of loneliness, fear, or limitation, but because they have embraced self-completion. Throughout life, much of our energy is spent trying to become something: a good partner, a parent, a provider, a caretaker, a contributor to society. There's often little time to ask deeper questions about personal identity, passions, or dreams that may not fit within the roles we've had to play. But once the rush slows and responsibilities shift, there comes a unique opportunity to rediscover the self. Many in their 70s report feeling a kind of emotional freedom they've never known before. A sense that they are finally able to live for themselves, to make choices guided entirely by personal joy, peace, and authenticity. This stage of life can be a rich period of personal growth. There is time to explore new hobbies, travel to long-desired destinations, take up writing, learn an instrument, study a new language, or simply enjoy quiet reflection and spiritual exploration. What makes it even more powerful is that these pursuits are self-motivated, not influenced by a partner's interests or needs. For the first time in decades, many individuals can fully honor their own inner compass, leading to deep fulfillment and ongoing personal evolution. What's often misunderstood is the idea that someone who lives alone later in life must be missing something. The truth for many is the opposite. They are not incomplete. They are complete in a way they never imagined possible during their younger years. There is a deep satisfaction in waking up without the pressure to meet someone else's expectations, in living according to one's own rhythm, and in realizing that happiness does not have to come from being part of a couple. This kind of independence isn't rooted in defiance or bitterness. It's rooted in peace. It's a gentle, contented acknowledgement that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. In fact, many find that their solitude is filled with meaning, with books that speak to them, walks that calm them, art that inspires them, and moments that would be difficult to fully appreciate while managing the complexity of a new romantic relationship. Additionally, emotional growth continues well into our later years. Just because one has aged does not mean personal development stops. In fact, this chapter can be among the most transformative. Letting go of the need to be completed by another person can open the door to deeper forms of self-love and acceptance. It becomes clear that true happiness has always been an internal process, not something handed to us by another, but something we cultivate from within. In choosing not to remarry after 70, many are not shutting the door on love. They are redefining it. Love, in this season of life, is directed inward towards self-care, self-expression, and the realization that being whole and happy alone is not only possible but profoundly rewarding. It is a form of wisdom that comes with age, the kind that doesn't shout for attention but whispers, gently and clearly, "You are enough." Reason number 5, avoiding the burdens of caregiving and compromise. As individuals grow older, the prospect of beginning a new romantic partnership is often viewed through a different lens, one shaped by experience, practicality, and a deep desire for peace in the later years of life. For many over the age of 70, the idea of remarrying carries with it not just emotional considerations, but physical, mental, and logistical ones. One of the most surprising and significant reasons many choose not to remarry at this stage is the desire to avoid the potential burdens of caregiving and compromise, and to instead preserve their own well-being, autonomy, and peace of mind. In earlier stages of life, relationships are often built on dreams of a shared future, raising a family, building careers, and supporting each other through life's growth. But by 70, many have already walked that path. They've supported a spouse through illness, shouldered the stress of mutual responsibilities, and managed the daily give and take that long-term relationships require. The thought of starting that cycle again, particularly when both individuals are aging, can feel emotionally and physically overwhelming. Aging brings with it inevitable health challenges. The possibility of taking on a caregiving role for a new partner, someone with their own medical issues, appointments, limitations, or emotional needs, can feel daunting. It's not a matter of lacking compassion, it's a matter of self-preservation. Many older individuals understand all too well the toll caregiving can take: the sleepless nights, the emotional fatigue, the loss of personal time, and the gradual shift from partner to nurse. Having already fulfilled these roles, they may now choose to protect their remaining years from similar demands. This decision also stems from a strong desire to embrace a lifestyle of fewer obligations and more personal choice. After decades of compromise, choosing meals, managing schedules, handling finances, and sharing space, many over 70 find great joy in finally living on their own terms. They can wake when they want, eat what they want, go where they please, and make decisions without the need for discussion or alignment with another person's routine. This kind of autonomy, once a distant dream during years of partnership and parenting, becomes a treasured part of daily life. There's also the emotional consideration of wanting to minimize stress. A new relationship, no matter how loving, comes with the need for adjustment. It involves navigating someone else's habits, moods, family dynamics, and medical conditions. For someone who has spent a lifetime managing such complexities, the idea of introducing a whole new set of challenges can be more exhausting than exciting. The desire for simplicity, peace, and predictability becomes stronger than the desire to form a new romantic bond. What often surprises others is how empowering and healthy this choice can be. Not remarrying is not a retreat into isolation. It's a conscious decision to protect one's health, time, and emotional energy. Many people who make this choice continue to enjoy rich social lives, meaningful friendships, and close relationships with family. They are not without love. They have simply chosen a different form of it, one that doesn't come with the burdens of compromise or caregiving. It's also important to recognize that this decision reflects wisdom. It acknowledges the reality of aging with clarity and strength. It honors the work that has already been done in previous relationships and the care that has already been given. It says, "I've earned this peace," and protects it fiercely. Choosing not to remarry, in this sense, is not a loss. It's a preservation of freedom, autonomy, and emotional space. For those over 70 who have experienced the weight of responsibility for much of their lives, this chapter becomes an opportunity to lay that burden down. To live gently, freely, and with self-respect. And sometimes, the most loving thing a person can do, for themselves and others, is to say no to more responsibility and yes to the quiet, dignified joy of living life fully on their own terms. So often, the world romanticizes the idea of finding love again, of pairing off no matter the age, as if wholeness depends on another person. But those who choose not to remarry after 70 are telling a different story, one of freedom, wisdom, and inner strength. They're not turning away from love, they're turning toward themselves, toward peace, clarity, and the life they've worked hard to shape on their own terms. Whether it's protecting financial independence, honoring lifelong friendships, preserving emotional energy, or simply embracing the joy of self-completion, these choices reflect courage, not fear. In a culture that equates being alone with being lonely, they are proof that solitude can be sacred and powerful. Sometimes the bravest decision in life isn't starting over with someone new. It's continuing forward, unapologetically, with yourself.